Branwen bud. O Branwen, bud. O Branwen, do the story ddim yn llawen. Mae'n dechrau gyda gledda ac yn gorffen mewn rhyfela.
Does draw o'i werddon, ofyn am dy galon, a dy brodi di, ac un o'n wledydd ni.
Croeso and welcome to Tales for Wales, the pod that never fails to mine the caverns of the mind for the prized trinkets of knowledge, to plunge the depths of the brain's Mariana Trench to uncover the ugly blind fish of the past, and to master the mind that dreams oh so fondly of tales of the past.
I was like,
did there? They'll all come apparent later.
Especially because we're doing this episode's about the Mabinogion. But yeah, our guest today has a history with Mastermind, but that was like not on the forefront of my mind. I was like, oh, you've clearly forgot what we're doing tonight. But no,
the punch you never see coming always hurts the most, mate.
Croeso, we have Luke St. Clement on as a guest tonight. Who's well, do you want to introduce yourself, Luke?
So my name's Luke. I used to be a teacher, and I kind of found my way into getting really into kind of Welsh culture and mythology through probably not your normal path, which I'll mention in a bit, but
best game to be in, mate. Best game to be in. Speaking exactly. From experience.
It was actually Sam Cross IT that got me involved in listening into your podcast, and then
he's a good
speaking to him ever since about it.
Oh, yeah. He's good. I've always said he's good people.
Yeah, he's all right. He's good people. One of our own.
I didn't actually mention to you guys earlier. He actually, when I told him I was going on, he said, "Why don't you write them a jingle?" And I was like, "I haven't really got time. I'm going on tonight." So he actually wrote some lyrics.
He is insane.
Can I tell you that sounds exactly like something
that does sound like something you do. Do you have the lyrics available?
I do. I did actually make it into a small song quickly in 10 minutes before I came on.
The humble guy there earlier going, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly have time to turn into a jingle." Well, I whipped up something.
Yeah, the next summer blockbuster. This is a summer jam.
I didn't say it was quality.
Yeah, nothing we do is quality. You're in good company here.
Do you want to hear it? Or
we would love to hear it.
With the guitar as well, because I've got it.
100%.
Oh, it's alive. This is an acoustic set.
Get the guitar.
Good God. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know what the audio's going to sound like. And like I said, I wouldn't release this as a song.
We're going straight to number one.
The reasons will become apparent very shortly.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Right, we'll see. And as I said, I want to stress that Sam Cross IT wrote the lyrics to this. They're not mine. Okay, here we go.
Massively offensive. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm just remembering what the chords are. Right. Grab a lager, ignore the wife. These tales are slightly larger than life. It's magic just like William, so sign up to the Patreon. Just ours, not the other one. Just referring to any other podcasts in particular. Go buy a t-shirt or a vest. These tales will help put hairs on your chest. It's not a test, but you may find you'll get schooled by a mastermind, whether non-Welsh unto from the gods. It's time to learn about the Mabinogs, from Bendigeidfran to Max and Ledig. These bended truths are bendigedig.
Oh, gwych, ardderchog. That is unbelievable. I was smiling.
That was bloody brilliant.
Gwein or glisty glist. I was absolutely loving that. What an intro.
I was not familiar with your work, Luke, but my God, this is an awakening.
To make that a weekly intro anyway. That is outstanding.
Oh no, I don't know about that.
You've just signed yourself up now to, after this, you're going to have to go and record that professionally, because we want that. We want it.
That is fantastic.
See, maybe.
That is so good. Well,
what
an
I
intro.
Give it a go.
It's going to be tough to top that.
Sam is obsessed with words, isn't he? Every time we take this, it's like a beautiful ode. And I think he's got like a medical condition where he has to make a pun out of everything. He is obsessed with puns. God bless you,
She'll
Sam.
be happy to hear that.
He's a good man.
Well, diolch to you and diolch to Sam. That was fucking...
Diolch to Sam.
Yeah,
So
should
we raise a toast to Sam? What are we all drinking?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm on
Sam
the
boy.
classic Iechda to Sam baby. I'm on the Budweiser. I was trying to think of some sort of link to Welsh then, but no, never mind. It's Budweiser. That's it.
Well, I'm being a healthy boy, and I'm having a Bud Light. So I'm like you, but I'm my health is my wealth, and I'm investing hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, your body's a temple. I get it.
yeah. Luke, what are you drinking?
Yeah, my body is no such thing. I'm having a Curo Moretti, or a beer, as we call it.
A fine Italian brew. I like it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I do love
like
Moretti.
it.
Yeah.
Well, this episode's going to be a bit about the Mabinogion, but also a bit around your experiences with the Mabinogion on the hit TV show Mastermind. Luke, do you want to talk about your experience of going on Mastermind, and what was your subject?
Yeah, so it's quite a strange one. Before I went on Mastermind, I'd actually never read the Mabinogion. I knew a bit of the stories.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend, she works in TV and film in Ireland at the moment, and she was visiting, and she'd mentioned one, I think it was the story of Blodeuwedd at the time. But I was massively into Lord of the Rings, and then through that kind of got into the mythology behind, the Silmarillion and all that stuff.
That's how it all starts, mate. You get in on those like fantasy films, then you can't get enough then.
So kind of got into that, then I got into that. Do you know the Mythos book by Stephen Fry?
Yes, I have a copy
Absolutely
on my
love that.
bookshelf, mate. I went gaga for that myself. Did you get Heroes as well?
I didn't listen to Heroes, so I was listening to the audiobook when I went to New Zealand on a Lord of the Rings tour. Was when I was listening to that, and then it was all around this time that I started. Then after my friend told me the story of Blodeuwedd, and I obviously going to a Welsh language school, you learn these stories when you're younger, but you don't remember them really when you leave school. But then, that was in the back of my mind, I guess. So then, I also later maybe that year, me and the guys were out drinking, I think, and on a night out, I think we were probably doing Lord of the Rings trivia, I imagine. And someone mentioned, like loads about Lord of the Rings. You've probably got a Mastermind or something as a joke. And then later that night, I don't remember really doing this, but when I got home at like 2 a.m., whatever it was, really drunk, I looked up Mastermind on my phone and signed up when I was drunk.
Fantastic.
And I had this kind of, I just about remembered doing it, but wasn't sure if it was a dream or not.
This is such a great orange story, and it's so much in our wheelhouse as well.
That's what I was
doing
thinking,
stupid shit when you're drunk, then leads into something good. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, I knew you guys would love this story. So yeah, then a few weeks later, a couple of months maybe it would have been, I got a phone call off the Mastermind team, and they asked me to do a quiz on the phone, which I didn't know. Obviously, and if you've not applied for Mastermind, you don't know the whole process that goes on behind it. So yeah, I had to do a quiz. I was sitting in the office in work with my coworker just in the room, just answering random questions. I'd just be like, they were looking at me strangely.
It started just like this pod where you went, hang on a minute, I've got a little jingle I've written exactly for this. I've got the guitar with me. It's just like, give me a second.
And they said, don't worry, we've already got some music for Mastermind.
Yeah.
What was were the questions like general knowledge, or were they based on your topic?
Yeah, they were just completely general knowledge.
Just general. Wow.
I can't remember. I remember one question I got wrong, because at the time, I wasn't that into musicals, and I'd heard of the song "Defying Gravity," but I just couldn't remember which musical it was from.
I'm about to engage
obviously, if it was
this.
out now,
it
would be a lot more popular.
A side note, that's just come on Sky Cinema, and my wife has earmarked us for that for Friday night, and it's 2 hours 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long old flick.
It's a longie, isn't it?
Do you like musicals, mate? Because I don't, and I watched it all.
No, but we'll defy gravity, and I'll try not to kill myself. So we'll give it a go.
I'll give it one thing. I'm sorry, I'm turning this an impromptu review of Wicked, but it's all I'm saying is great production design. Yeah. I'll give it that.
All right, cool. All right,
we can move on now.
Review that.
Yeah.
So after that, so they kind of, I think they do that for everyone that's applied, just to see that you have, you do know some
Credentials.
things. You're not just a complete idiot going on the show who knows nothing. And then you got accepted to another round where I had to go to Cardiff, so from Swansea, but I had to go up to Cardiff to a hotel where they had almost like a screen test, but they had a room full of these people applying. And you'd have to sit in front of everyone else in a chair in this massive hotel room, just answering questions again.
In
And
front
they only
of
asked
the enemy.
five.
Oh, it's like a stress test.
In front of other people who are applying for it, yeah,
Oh.
and with a camera pointed at you as well to see how you cope with the stress, I guess. But I managed to get 4 out of the 5 questions right. You just get lucky. You just know those questions.
Well, I imagine
and you can guess them. But
you're like, because I bet you I wouldn't have known them. So I'm sure you're doing yourself a disservice there. You must be a clever fella.
Clever clogs. Well, you've got a bloody mastermind, mate. That's surely the prerequisite. You've got to be a clever clog.
Were they also general? Were they also general knowledge
just
again?
general knowledge as well, yeah.
And did you say in the application you wanted to do Lord of the Rings?
Yes, so that was my main thing, Lord of the Rings. And after we did the screen test, they kind of did an interview with you just to get you to talk about your specialist subject, to see why you want to do it, and just to see, I guess, if you're passionate about it. And I remember going on a 10-minute rant about why I loved Tolkien and the world that he created and all this kind of stuff. And the people they were a Northern Ireland-based company, so they'd just taken over the Mastermind contract, I guess. So,
all right.
They told me, and I don't know if I should say this, but it's on the podcast, that it's fine. They said, we really want to have more people from other countries other than England on the show.
That makes sense.
Come on, lads. Yeah.
They felt like English people were too overrepresented on the show.
Yeah, that's quite good.
That's nice. Yeah, nice direction they're moving in.
So I know what you're thinking is, how do we get from here to Mabinogion? So
you said, I'm not doing this. I want to challenge myself. I want to go something completely unknown.
Going in blind.
So they said to me they really wanted me on the show because they liked me and I answered the questions right and they liked the way I talked about stuff. But then you have to pick your top 3 subjects you would do as a specialist subject. And at the time I was thinking, well, I only really know Lord of the Rings that I'd be confident enough to answer questions on.
Lord of the Rings 1, Lord of the Rings 2, Lord of the Rings 3, okay?
I was
Line me up.
I could possibly stretch to the Silmarillion, but it's like there's a lot of content in there. But then what ended up happening is I picked, so my second choice was, I think it was Albert Einstein, and then the third one was Richard Feynman, so 2 physicists. My background was in physics in university. So I'd read their autobiographies and stuff, and they very interesting characters.
You did have some background in it. It wasn't just absolutely rogue.
Oh, yeah,
Einstein, Feynman, just give me them. Yeah, I'll learn about it. I'll read up the night before. It's fine.
No, they were the 2 things I thought, well, I've read about them before, so I can just read about them again, and it should be fine. But then I got a phone call off them saying, we really want you on the show, but Lord of the Rings has been done too recently, and so have the other 2. So you're going to have to pick a 4th. And I was like, I don't know about anything else. So then I was like, well, what do I do? Because I want to go on the show. It'd be a cool experience. And they were filming it in Northern Ireland, in Belfast. So they were going to fly me out to Belfast, basically, for a couple of nights.
Yes, please.
So I thought, I have to go. But what do I put myself through for the next 6 months or whatever that I have to revise so much to learn the thing in the first place?
Proper boot camp, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So because I'd been interested in the Mabinogion before, and I'd read a couple of stories since my friend had mentioned it. I went with that, and they liked it. So that's what I ended up revising for about 6 months.
Fair play.
At the time, I was doing a degree full-time on top of my full-time job, and then doing that, it was horrendous. I wouldn't recommend.
The degree and the job to the side. Focus fully on Mastermind. This is your goal now.
For a while, yeah, that's what happened. But yeah, so I ended up going to Belfast and filming it, and the episode was all right, but Mabinogion went really well. But I generally think
we have quite a lot of American listeners, so we should probably explain what Mastermind is. It's like it's a pure British quiz show where it's no frills. It's like really serious. It's actually based off a interrogation, isn't it? The guy who invented it based it off. Do you know the background of it? You might be better to explain what Mastermind is.
I don't. I heard about that, but I'm not entirely sure. But it was kind of based. I'm not sure if it was based off kind of interrogation techniques they did with the Nazis after the Nuremberg
what
trials.
it was. Yeah, that's what
It's
I
like
heard
a
it was.
light afternoon sort of thing, you know.
And the format is you have like one general knowledge, don't you, and one specialist subject, and you get as many questions as the time allows for. Is that right?
Yes, you get. I can't remember how long the minute. You get about a minute and a half, I think, for your specialist subject, and then a minute or something for your general knowledge round. But you say it's very serious. What I didn't expect, because obviously it looks very serious and it's all dark. There was a live crowd, which I wasn't aware that they had.
Pin drop, because they're so silent.
That's... And then to warm up the live crowd, they had a comedian. It was so surreal.
Let's warm you up. But if I hear a peep out of you, Clive Myrie is going to knock you out. That's wild.
That's so mad that if you didn't know what Mastermind was, you just accept what you said then. But like as people who have grown up with it being on telly and things like that, it sounds so mad that you have a comedian there, because it's you don't get that vibe sort of thing. There's like the occasional like stiff upper lip kind of joke in there, isn't there? But usually
it's a good so for our American and our global listeners. It was created by Bill Wright, who drew inspiration from his experiences of being interrogated by the Gestapo during World War II. So the show features an intimidating setting and challenging questions. 4 contestants face 2 rounds. Yeah, as you said, but it has this really approaching, like menacing, like intense sound, which we'll drop in. We'll add the sound. You'd have heard it by now, but yeah,
imagine
it's not
Luke here, like sat down with a light in his face, an SS officer being like, "Who's your favourite Mabinogion character?"
Das ist nicht so gut, ja! Whipping him.
To be fair, some of his pronunciations of the Welsh, it was almost like he was speaking German to me in some of the questions.
Oh, yeah. I imagine, how did he get on with that?
Honestly, like, I felt a bit hard done by, because some of the questions, he couldn't say the word so badly, he had to restart the question. I didn't get any extra time for that, but you don't see that. They cut that out.
Please tell me how the huge power trooper like, sorry, mate, you haven't actually quite spelt that or pronounced it quite right. Let me tell you, let me educate you, sir.
What was hilarious is after I did my round, and obviously he'd struggled with the pronunciation, and with him being from Wales as well, from Cardiff, I was, you expect a bit more competency with the pronunciation, but I guess he's old Welsh and lived in England most of his life probably, so fair play. Yeah. But
was it Clive Myrie for you?
No, John Humphreys. I think he's from Scotland.
you had John Humphreys.
Yeah, it was back in 2018. I think it was his last year of doing it.
Oh, because he's the best one.
Yeah, he was good until I got him to try to pronounce Welsh names from the Mabinogion.
After that, they were like, "John, you got to go, mate. You've just been absolutely."
I mean, he's from Adamstown, so not like the most super like. Especially at the time, he's quite an old fella now. So when he lived here, it probably wasn't like hyper Welsh.
No,
we'll let him off for that one.
Yeah, but saying about the comedian, the most I laughed was when he asked me after the round in front of the entire studio. He said, he didn't ask me, he said, "Your pronunciation's better than mine, and I'm Welsh." And I was like, so am I.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people would do this kind of...
be mad. And
I was going to say, absolutely rogue if you were like, you were like, "Oh no, I'm not even from Wales, and I want to do Mabinogion."
Yeah. It would be really impressive, because you'd have to learn the pronunciation well enough that someone else who might mispronounce it, because if you don't pronounce it correctly, you have to understand how they mispronounce it compared to how you mispronounce it.
That's such a good point to make, actually, because it's hard enough to know how to pronounce it if you're from here.
And also, Luke, you've got
listening
a Welsh...
to like the common mistake sort of thing.
You've got a Welsh accent. You're doing a Welsh accent. I think John Humphreys is a thicko. I think maybe he shouldn't be doing Mastermind. I think he's really let himself down here. An absolute goon.
I
didn't the guys in the recording booth, we're going, hang on, he's just gone past it now.
That's why they had to retire him and get like Clive in. That's why they had to get rid of him. Clive Murray in straight after that.
It got a bit of a laugh from the audience, to be fair.
Oh, that's worth winning in itself. So, what were your results in the end for the Mabinogion one?
I think I had 10 out of 12 in the Mabinogion.
Nice. Very nice.
And there was one that I was never going to get, and it was to the point I thought they're never going to ask a question on this, because I don't know if you're familiar, but there's like a list of about 150 names in the Mabinogion at one part where, I don't know, the authors just thought, I'm going to just list 100 people. And they asked me a specific question about one of those names, which I was never going to remember. So that one I wasn't too annoyed by, but there was one other I should have got. But
so what were the questions? What was the other question that you didn't get?
I was going to say, do you ask me the question? Because I'm not saying that I'm anywhere near your level, but if I can get it right,
on you!
If I can get it right, if I can get it right, I'll be absolutely buzzing myself. It's a personal
How
quest.
about you ask me, mate? I'll tell you
what, right? When you listen to me, you should have me on there. Ask a friend.
No.
I know I probably won't get it right, but on the off chance I did, I would just be buzzing with myself more than anything.
Yeah, no, actually, I was just teasing, just having a laugh, really, because I'd be interested.
Right, well, don't do something really serious. Okay, something really close to my heart.
Oh, can you ask all of them? Can we do Mastermind now?
Okay, we could do a quiz. Yeah, okay, if we want.
All right, you ready for that, Jack?
I wrote them down in case you ever wanted to use these, so we can use it.
Right, if I get the first 2 wrong, we're stopping, okay? And we'll just crack on with what we had planned before.
Well, should we do 5? Should we do 5? Because you've had no time to prep for this, so we'll see.
I said what I said. First 2, if I get them wrong, I'm not doing any more, right?
All right. Start with the easiest ones.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. They do tend to give you an easy one at the start, so we'll see how you do with this one. So the first question is, the Mabinogion is the name given to a collection of 11 Welsh tales taken mainly from 2 medieval manuscripts. One is the White Book of Rhydderch. What is the other?
The Red Book of... fuck. The White Book of Rhydderch and the Red Book of... And I've already failed at the first syllable. Put me out of misery.
Because Tolkien kind of stole the idea as well for this book, which is why Bilbo writes his story in the Red Book of Westmarch, which is based off this book. The Red Book of Herdegest is the
Herdegest. God damn it!
All right, let's try the second one. Let's try. My favorite part of history is like medieval Welsh, so like 10th to 12th century. None of this mumbo jumbo from the past that you guys are into. None of this. So I'm absolving myself from this.
I used to claim this was my favourite part of stuff, but I might have to rescind that after
also,
this.
I'm lying on my sofa like I'm a big fat Greek Roman god. You know, like I'm the hedonist bot from Futurama. I feel I'm just
like Dionysus.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm having a lovely time. Sorry. All right, look, next question. Hit him.
Cool. Which English aristocrat published a series of English translations of the Mabinogion between 1838 and 1849? They remained the standard English text for almost a century.
No, you're right. This was a really stupid idea. Let's crack on with the episode.
Well,
no, you've lost me there.
That's not even about the Mabinogion. That's about some...
No.
guy.
Yeah, actually, Luke. That's not even about the Mabinogion. So,
I generally think what they do is they look through. They ask for a source book, so you give them a book that you're using for the information, so they have to use that as well. And they've just gone through it page by page. They looked at the introduction and got these 2 questions from that.
right.
But it was Lady Charlotte Guest.
That's so annoying because I do know Charlotte Guest.
Yeah, right. Well, should we go through all the questions anyway? Right? There's only 12 questions. It'd be interesting to hear what they were.
Yeah. So
go on.
And these are actually about the stories now, so you don't have to remember facts about history. Okay. You can remember the facts about the stories instead. So in the first
listeners, hang on, sorry. For the listeners, if I get these wrong, they're so obscure. It's like deep lore. If I get them right, it's because I'm just such a scholar.
Yeah, they're also really deep lore if you get them right.
Yeah, they're deep lore no matter what, okay?
Well, I know some of them you've definitely done episodes on this because I was listening back to your mythology ones.
Mate, that means nothing. Do you know how drunk I am some of these times?
Okay, right, next one. In the first branch of the Mabinogi, Poish men take turns to beat a bag that they are told contains an animal, but it actually contains Poish's love rival Gwawl. What animal do they say is in the bag?
A boar.
Oh, not far off. It is alliteration, kind of in the bag, something in the bag.
A bull?
No, not bull.
Why don't I know that?
Another animal beginning with a B.
Beaver.
No.
Big old beaver.
A traditional Welsh animal.
Beaver. I don't know. Unless Jack...
Farmers don't like them.
No, go on.
A badger.
Badger?
Badger, fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Jack's falling apart.
Kicking a badger.
All right, question 4. Let's see if Jack can get any.
It's like when you think you are something, and then you like your whole like character
apart.
unravels in front of the mirror. It's like, yeah.
mirror's
Come on,
just
let's crack on. This is
shattered.
a laugh. This is great.
Okay. Oh wait, you might know this one because I've heard you mention this, both of you, in your podcasts. So in the first branch of the Mabinogi, Pwyll is the Prince of Dyfed, an area of southwest Wales that consists of 7 specific territorial administrative units. What are the name of these units?
Cantrevs?
Yeah, you got
Yes, one on the board. Thank you
Nice.
very much. Only, what was that, 4 in?
one. Yeah, that was the 4th one.
We can get there. We can
All right,
we
5th. What we going for
claw it
5?
back.
Oh, now, I would say from now on, they start to get harder.
Oh, well, let's leave it there, shall
God,
we?
there we are. So I've had that. I got the last one of the easy ones right. Brilliant.
Let's see what number 5 is, then we'll move on.
Number 5 is, in the second branch of the Mabinogi, Branwen dies of a broken heart and is buried on the banks of which river?
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Even I can't remember this. I think it's Aberfraw.
Yeah, well,
North
Aberfraw
Wales.
is the big house in North Wales, which is like the seat of all the great
Yeah.
princes and
When you
kings.
had Branwen, then I was like, oh, what's he going to ask? He's going to ask about mythology. He's going to ask about the baby in the fire. I got loads of knowledge about this. And then like, the bloody burying place now.
Oh, I was wrong. It's actually the Allow River. But yeah.
Allow it, man.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, the others
right.
are quite hard. I don't think you probably know them based on the answers.
Shall we come back to these so I can do the rest of my disheartenment later?
Well, actually,
Yeah.
to be fair, Luke did study for 6 months. Luke, do you want to send over the other ones that you didn't get, and then we'll give Jack 2 weeks to prepare, and then we'll do the. I'll ask Jack in a couple of weeks' time once he's had a bit of time to research, and then Jack can.
I thought you said send over the questions and then I'll research them. Imagine I got it wrong after that. 2 weeks to research after I've had the questions.
to be given the question. No,
I still don't know. Sorry,
questions.
guys.
I'll
I'm
pick the
usually really good at
questions.
these. Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks is quite a short amount of time to go into the detail that they ask about, really. But you can probably get some of them.
We'll get some of them, I'm sure.
Maybe
Yeah.
I do all right on like something called Simple Mind. Like get me on that, and then I could do like surface level
Soft
questions. I'll be
mind.
all right. Soft brain, boys. Yeah.
If you guys become like big celebrities from this podcast, you can go on the Celebrity Mastermind and answer their questions.
They're a bit easier, aren't they? So, Jack, just
Definitely.
propel us forward massively, and then you can go on and
Keep trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep trying is what you're saying. I got you.
But you were also going to give us a little rundown of one of your favourite stories from the Mabinogion, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's Mathonwy. Oh God, I can't even say it. Mathonwy.
Yeah, Mathonwy, that's the one, yeah. I was wondering if you remember what we were going to do. So this is kind of a precursor to the Blodeuwedd story. So I had a
I
panic
know this one.
last week.
I know this one as well. Okay, just FYI, listeners.
To be fair, you know all the stories,
let
but
you
a
do
lot
it,
of the specifics are quite, masterminds for the absolute clever clogs, isn't it? So
It's
don't
the
beat
Shadows
yourself
who
up,
revised.
Jack.
This is why this guy's my co-host. He's got my back.
I get your back, baby.
He's not a thick shit. He's
not a
fine.
thick
He's
shit. I mean,
good.
it's very tough to out of the bag ask you to answer the mastermind questions on Mabinogion, but it's still a laugh. But now
1
we
out of
do
4.
have.
I'm all right. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, look, you are the master of the Mabinogion now. So do you want to hit us with a bit of history? Well, Mabinogion history.
Yes, so I'll jump into the story of math because I'm not that kind of an expert on the origins of the Mabinogion, but kind of all these stories come from 12th, 13th, or 14th century stories that people would just talk, just say to each other, like storytelling, and they weren't really put together until Charlotte Guest kind of collected them into an English translation and put them together. So the 2 books we mentioned earlier. Actually, I'll mention this because it grinds my gears, I think, because do you know where the Red Book of Hergest actually is at the moment? So our kind of the main Welsh collection of Welsh medieval stories, where it's held.
I have a hint that'll
they're
probably
not
use some English
in Wales.
museum.
I know that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's in Oxford, the Red Book. To be fair, the White Book of Rhydderch is actually in Aberystwyth in the library.
Yeah.
But they're not really on display. I don't know if you've been to Dublin, but they've got a medieval book called the Book of Kells, and it's makes them so much money every year from tourists going to visit because they do such a massive exhibition of it.
It's embarrassing how little we boast and talk and celebrate our heritage of that. It's crazy that we don't bother.
I just feel like you could celebrate a bit more and people would be more aware of these.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing stories. They've lasted so long. We had a director on recently, Dan, who's working on an Excalibur film, and he talks so passionately about like Wales' biggest export should be our myths and like our legends. That's what separates us, and we just don't.
You were saying it's like fantasy films are like basically is one of our huge exports. Like you don't realize how many fantasy films are filmed in Wales because it's just it's the land is like sort of steeped with it. It's amazing.
Also, can I just say, I forgot to mention this, Luke, but there's a website called lifeaftermastermind.blogspot.com where some guy reviews every single episode, and he's like a genius.
I've actually read that, I think.
Yeah. Well, he said on here, he said, where was it? Last night's school teacher with Luke Clement, he was answering on the Mabinogion, and I have to thank him for demonstrating that I know a lot less about the Mabinogion than I thought I did. In all honesty, I thought I was in serious danger of posting a single figure aggregate for the specialist last night, but the 3 I scraped in this round, together with the 6 from the previous round, meant that I passed with it just with one in the last. Luke managed to double the figure score we've been looking for with 10 and 2 passes. So even he acknowledges that it was a very tough round for you, mate.
I think he went a bit harsh on me after that in the general knowledge.
Yeah, I was going to leave that part.
We like positivity on this pod, don't we? So,
although he said he goes on about the general knowledge side. He went, Luke didn't manage it. In fact, he rather struggled his way to 5. I don't wish to add any more to a fellow teacher's misfortune. But he said, this guy seems mad. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I did enjoy what I read. I only found that a few years ago, just because I was trying to find, at that time, someone made a comment and tagged Stephen Merchant in it saying, this guy looks just like you and of me, and I've had that a lot growing up.
That's wild.
And so I was trying to find that, and by searching for that a couple of yeyears ago, just to find that tweet to show someone, I found that and read the blog, and I was like, oh, he's really nice about me, and then I kept on reading, and I thought, okay, it was a bit harsh. But yeah, anyway, so... Oh, go on.
No, sorry, yeah, so back to you. Sorry for interjecting with Life After Mastermind blog.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is kind of that's the reason why I got really into the Mabinogion and why I'm still kind of passionate about it, is that we don't celebrate our own myths enough. Like, England doesn't have this, and which is one of the reasons Tolkien started writing Lord of the Rings. He wanted to make a mythology for England because they've had so many invasions and so much kind of different cultures coming in that none of their kind of stories have lasted.
They don't have like a through line, do they, to the sort of their past myths? Yeah. And
it's the reason why I've picked Math is the first 4 branches in the Mabinogion. They feel more Welsh than the rest. I don't know how much you've read the ones that come after it, but I got so bored of knights and King Arthur. I know King Arthur obviously fits into Welsh, but I think there was a lot of borrowing from European kind of stories 100%. About King Arthur.
And like you said, because when did you mention earlier, it's like the sort of these stories are kind of sort of, when do you say 14th century, did you say 15th?
Yeah, I think 13th and 14th century.
13th, 14th. So like that's when just the written examples come, isn't it? Like you said, before that it's all like oral tradition, which is why they weren't written down before. And it's you can definitely tell in the later stories like there's a theme, isn't it? You know, like how like we go through cinema and like MCU is the big thing. You can tell it's like sort of knights on a quest is like a big thing at one point in like all this mythological writing. But there's all the stories, like you said, I much prefer the ones where like Culhwch and Olwen, where it's like Arthur's just he's like a territory character, and it's all much more magical and a bit more fantastical. They're much better.
Yeah, it feels more mythological and more Welsh rather than stories about knights, which I like.
Definitely.
Which is why I picked one of the first 4 branches. Because if I had to come on this and talk about, I can't remember his name, Paradir, I would have to cut my eyes out or something. I can't deal with that guy anymore. Revising for Mastermind wasn't as fun as it sounds. But yeah, so Math, Son of Mathonwy, it's the precursor to the Blodeuwedd story. So we're going to finish where you guys started the Blodeuwedd story in your... I think it was your 16th episode. I went back and checked and listened to make sure I wasn't covering anything that you've done already.
You could do a mastermind on this. on Tales for Wales.
Well, I've listened to all your episodes in the last 9 months, so I've caught up on them. Binged them recently as well. But
I thought you were going to say when you you got the nod for Mastermind, you're like, right, straight on the Tales for Wales podcast. That's going to be for me next 6 months.
oh, no,
Same caliber.
I don't think I'll ever apply for that again. It was terrifying. Like I'm used to playing on stage with the band, but I could feel my heart pounding in my chest just sitting there with a comedian trying to warm up the crowd. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably get stuck into this. So this is the story of Math, son of Mathonwy. So it starts off, Math, he's the lord over Gwynedd. And at this time, Pryderi, who I think you've probably met in other episodes you've done, he's the son of Pwyll and Rhiannon. He is in charge in the south. So you have Math, son of Mathonwy up in Gwynedd, and Pryderi down in south, which is relevant, and we'll see why in a bit. And for some reason, it puts in loads of extra information in these stories. But Pryderi, he was ruling over 21 cantrefs at the time, which comes up later as well. So at the time, so this is why I love these kind of stories, because it's so random and just comes out of nowhere.
I know exactly the next bit you're going to bring up as well, because it's such a baffling thing. But go ahead.
That's why I love this story particularly. It just happens all the way through. Something just baffling happens. So at this time, Math, he couldn't live, so he'd literally die unless his feet were in the lap of a virgin.
Jack, you'd be right there, mate. You virgin. Sorry.
And I know what you're thinking. Well, how did he go to war and stuff, and how did he defend his place? But it's fine. There was a caveat in that rule where if he was at war, then he doesn't have to have his feet in the lap of a virgin, because that's how it works.
Obviously.
Yeah. Can't question that. Although I will bring it up later. There's a period where he doesn't have his feet in the lap of a virgin, and also is not at war. And I'm like, well, how long does this last before he just keels over and dies? So anyway, so the virgin who he's forced his feet upon is a girl called Goewin, and her mother's called Pebin, but that's not that relevant at the moment. So Goewin was the fairest maiden of a generation in that land, and for obvious reasons, Math couldn't circuit the land as most leaders would do at the time, because he'd have to have his feet. Obviously, he couldn't. So what he would do is he'd send his nephews, Gilfaethwy and Gwydion. So he'd send them to in his stead to go around and just, I don't know, whatever the royals do when they go around the lands.
Administrate.
Yeah, little prophecies or whatever,
Yes. So at this time, Gilfaethwy and Gwydion. There's lots of G's in this. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's very confusing. All the Welsh names are like too similar in respects. Like, you know, we're always on about how many fucking Llewellyn ap Griffiths or Griffith ap Llewellyns there are and stuff. And it's the same in mythology. It's all these very different, very similar, names.
Yeah, they could name their children something different to their names. Like, what was Mathonwy doing? Calling him Math. Like, just shortening his own names, just laziness. So Gilfaethwy, at the time, he'd fallen in love with Goewin. But that's not to say that it was reciprocated. And one day, Gwydion had guessed that he'd seen him looking, obviously, over it, and had guessed that he was really into her. But they were both anxious about this, because another baffling thing about Math, he has a special attribute in that any whispering between people, no matter how quiet, he would know about it once the wind catches hold of it.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
in that Disney or Pixar film. Talk about Bruno. You know that new one.
Encanto.
Encanto, yeah. They can hear that. One of her things is she can hear whispering.
Say cultural appropriation?
Exactly. Stolen our culture is not your costume.
Stolen our culture.
How dare they?
Yeah, because that's really awkward to live. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what her, like, one of the sisters in there, she can hear whispers on the wind.
Ah.
So they might have stolen.
Yeah, it must be awkward to live in Gwynedd at the time. You couldn't whisper at all, or the leader would just know about it.
Yeah,
you could slag him off though, and know as long as you weren't at war, he could never come and get you, because he's like, you got to keep your feet on religion. So
stand laughing at him from a distance.
Yeah.
But don't anger him enough that he causes a war, because then
Yeah, if he declares war on you, you fuck. Because he can take his feet off. Yeah.
I bet Goewin was quite happy when there was a war. She didn't have to sit there with this old man's feet.
I was just saying, what a
Some rotten
boring job
trotters.
poor Goewin had, didn't it? Like, yeah, go and stick your stinky fucking dogs up on me again.
Food with his
With a
feet like
barking.
there.
Yeah.
Just take a bath with his feet on. I don't know. I'm getting too into this now. So Gwydion worked out that Gilfaethwy liked Goewin, and they were keeping it quiet. So he decided to help his brother out by beginning a war to get Math out of the way, so that he could have a chance to work his own magic. So
Talk
Gwydion,
about
by the
being
way,
a wingman. That is a good wingman, that is.
Top wingman,
Yeah.
awful person, but great wingman to your brother.
Like
yeah.
the best wingmen in history, morally dubious.
Yeah, morally defunct, but great at the job.
Yeah.
So Gwydion, I don't know if you remember from the Blood David story, he's a magician. Gilfaethwy, there's no mention that he had any sort of magic. He was obviously the less talented brother. But
His magic, his special ability was fancying virgins, apparently.
Yeah.
That seems to be what it is.
yeah, so he wanted to work his own magic. He told Math that new animals had arrived in the south of the island, so south of Britain, whose meat is better than beef. So at that time, they'd never heard of pigs. But they've just heard about these pigs that had arrived in Wales. And apparently that actually happened if you look into the history of it. There was a certain point where pigs didn't exist in this country and then they were brought here.
Oh, pigs aren't native boys. I did not know that.
Apparently so. That's from the footnotes of the book I used, reading the Mabinogion.
Wow. I thought you were going to say, like, oh, it's better than beef. It's Wagyu beef, guys. Come on.
It comes from the
beer
Orient.
from when they were tiny. Yeah, it's from a distant sea. Yeah.
Found on the Silk Roads.
So Gwydion says that these animals are called hobe, but their name varies and are now called moch.
There we go.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of Welsh references, which I'll translate. So hobe is kind of an old word for pig, apparently, which we don't really use anymore. Or hob is the singular. And then moch means swine, but we just tend to use moch and mochin for pigs now in general.
For pig, yeah.
So he said that these had arrived in the country, and that Arawn, who is the king of Annwn, was in the first branch of the Mabinogion with Pwyll, he had gifted them to Pryderi at the time. So Pryderi had been given these pigs.
So hang on. So just for the listeners as well. So Arawn is king of. Sorry, which one of Arawn is it? I always get this confused. Arawn is the king. Annwn is the other world, isn't it?
That's
So
the
pigs
underworld, isn't it?
from the other world.
Yeah, it's kind of like the other world, or the under in what's it called? Stranger Things. It's not
The
dark
upside
dark,
down. Yeah.
upside down. That's it. Yeah.
So I didn't remember that pigs were like an animal from the other world, hellish beasts that taste delicious.
That's a good point. Yeah,
That's why Muslims don't like them, because they know that they come from hell.
They're from hell. They're from hell. From Welsh hell. Yeah.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that before. Yeah. Makes sense, I guess.
It makes total sense, just like the rest of the story. Yeah.
Relatively, it makes sense, I guess. So, once they'd heard about that, obviously Gwydion wanted to start a war. So what they decided to do is they'd go down to South Wales and they'd try and basically cause a war by stealing these pigs. So Gwydion, Gilfaethwy, and 10 men disguised themselves as poets, which always makes me laugh because I'm thinking, what does a poet look like?
How big is the disguise?
They obviously had like a certain look back in the day, didn't they? Like, and I like to think like really flamboyant, like feather boas, all this sort of
like
stuff. Like
French,
back
they're
then.
like smoking roadie cigarettes and like being really like, avant-garde. Ugh,
I can't help but think of like Dylan Thomas just drinking himself silly and
you can tell the
shots of
poets are all
whiskey.
absolutely hammered. Yeah,
So I think they mean kind of bards, and they were more kind of the same thing back then. They would sing songs as well as just obviously write poems and so on. So they headed down to Ceredigion. So they actually went to a place called Rhyddlan Tavy, where Pryderi's court was. So a lot of this as well, what I like about these stories is there's lots of mentions of places that obviously still exist, which is something that is so cool because you can look them up.
I love that.
And Rhyddlan Tavy is still a place. It's the spelling has changed, but it's still a little tiny village. And I was reading about it in preparation for this, and apparently they found archaeological evidence of some kind of buildings there that they think might have been a royal court from the 11th or 13th centuries. So obviously all these stories are based off real things, and then kind of edited a bit to make them more fantastical, I guess, over time, to make them more interesting. In the next episode, me and Jack are going to do another episode after this finishes, and it's about parts of the Hen Ogledd, so like the old north of Britain that used to have
the Cumbric kingdoms,
strong Welsh connections. And I talk a lot about the etymology of like town names and places. Like I love that we still have that in this country. You know, you're naming somewhere that's over 1,000 years old and still called the same thing, and it's got history attached to it. And I think they're like direct links to history, a town name. And if you just say it or you read it from a map, you wouldn't really know. But you dive a little bit deeper and you find out it's got, you know, a mythological history behind it, and I think that's very unique for Britain. I think that's quite a cool thing that we're in Wales specifically that we got.
And isn't it the most annoying thing ever when English names take over?
Hate it. Yeah, it's a real blight.
It's
that's why it's so important we don't rename places English things, because names in Welsh have such heft and meaning behind them that they tell stories. So like that's why it's important that we name things Banau Brycheiniog and Eryri and things like that. It's not just being pedantic, it's because they have like cultural significance and huge importance. So yeah, that's I do love that. I love that Wales is such an old language that you can still relate things today as you could 1,000 years ago, because the language has stayed the same. Sorry, got a bit serious on you there.
Back to feeding some pigs. So the next thing just comes out of nowhere as well. That's what I like about this story. It's just out of nowhere. Gwydion was the best storyteller in the world. I don't know if that was self-proclaimed or but according to the story, he was the best. So after reciting a story, he asked Pryderi if he could have the pigs. However, Pryderi had promised them to his people until they had at least doubled in number. So he was like, unfortunately, no, my people have been promised them. So what Gwydion does is he says he'll exchange them for something the next day that would be just as good or better. So he leaves that night and he conjures up 12 stallions and 12 hounds, each with a black and white breast embellished with gold instead of iron, which I assume means that the horses and dogs are wearing armour, but I'm not entirely sure what that means.
They're wearing like absolutely sick like chains around their necks, like proper Flavor Flav style. That's what I'm taking it as.
Yeah, I don't often think of dogs wearing armour, but maybe they did back in the day, who knows.
Mate, the pigs are from hell, so who knows at this point.
That's a good point, yeah. And he also conjured 12 golden shields from toadstools. What I'm wondering is, why didn't Pryderi the next day, when obviously he goes there and goes, here's all this stuff, why didn't Pryderi wonder where all that gold had just come from, or were they just carrying it with them, these random 12 poets? Who have randomly just found some horses and hounds and golden shields.
Yeah, forgot to mention them before. But yeah, we got all this loot, mate. Yeah, have a look at it.
It's like, oh, don't worry, we'll come back tomorrow with something. Because we don't have anything right now. Yeah. Anyway, so they exchanged the horses and hounds for the swine, and they hurried off. It turns out the magic that he'd kind of conjured up would wear off the next day. So I'm just imagining these people, these knights or whatever, holding these golden shields, which then just turn into mushrooms randomly the next day.
Yeah.
So understandably, that would probably annoy you if you were Pryderi. So
you probably want to go to war, I'd say.
I reckon you probably want to get the trotters off that virgin's lap and kick over.
Yeah.
Almost like it was all a cunning plan.
Well.
So they rushed off, Gwydion and Gilfaethwy and the 10 men. They made it to the uplands of Ceredigion that night, in a place which is now called Morchdref. So I say it's now called Morchdref.
Of course.
When it was written, it was now called Morchdref. Now we're not known exactly where it is, but there's a place near Aberystwyth called Nantemorch Reservoir. So they think it's like near there.
And
obviously Morchdref. Go on.
I was going to say, I was going to explain it for non-Welsh speakers, but yeah, it's Pig Town.
Pig Town, baby.
And if you look up Morchdref, you'll find several of them, and they're all attributed to this story. I
love it that there's several places in the Wales that are pig towns. Like that absolutely holds true.
That Nantemorch is also where Glyndŵr won his like big famous battle early on in like 1402 against like the Flemish when they're on horseback. And I always like it 'cause it's like a stream of pigs or pig stream, which is just quite a visceral image. But yeah, it's quite a famous area and quite a lot of Welsh history happens around there.
So if he was there just 100 years earlier, he would have seen some pigs just wandering about.
Yeah.
And these people running away with them now. So they make their way all the way up through Wales. They stop at a place called, it's a place between Kerry and Arwisley, which is near Newtown now. Another town which ended up being called Mochdre. So it's just south of Newtown. Then they moved up to a place called Mochnant, so Pig Brook.
Anywhere these pigs went, they left a mark. They're absolute pathfinders of the length and width of bloody Wales.
And then you'll never guess what town they went to next. What the name of the next town was.
Go on.
Can you guess?
So Mochdrev?
Yeah, it's Mochdrev. That's exactly where it is. And that's the one, if you do search on Google now, that is one you will find. It's still called Mochdrev now. It's up in North Wales, near, I think it's between Llandudno and Conwy.
Nice.
So he made it all the way up there. They went back then over to Gwynedd, to Caerdathil is the name of where his kind of court was. And when they met Math at Caerdathil, so they found out that Pryderi has assembled all 21 cantrefs to come after them. So he's literally gotten everyone he has control over in South Wales.
He really wants that bacon back.
To chase after these 12 pigs.
Taking it unlightly, yeah.
These magical hell pigs are valuable, obviously.
They taste so good. I'm assembling my entire army to get them back. To the sound of trumpets then, because obviously Gwydion and Gilfaethwy told Math that they're probably going to be people coming after them. Math and his men travelled out to Penarth, so a bit south from where they were, and war was announced, so he could actually move away from Goewin. She didn't have to hold his feet the whole time. So I bet that was nice. I don't know how long he's been sat there with someone holding his feet, but I bet his legs were a bit like jelly at the time. Yeah, and she's probably quite relieved at this point as well.
Yeah.
I know the next bit you're going to talk about is not so great, but then this... but yeah, at that point you'd be like, oh, thank God, his smelly little bloody trotters are off my lap for a second.
Yeah, I bet she was like, oh, yes, awesome. Get some time away from him, because wars usually last a while.
Yeah, let's go for some brunch with the gals before he gets back.
Yeah. I've been sat here my whole life just holding his feet.
Yeah.
So Gwydion's plan had worked perfectly, and it allowed Gilfaethwy a night with Goewin to make his move. Now, I said earlier he'd work his own kind of magic, but it turns out he was a disgusting human being. And that night when Gwydion and Gilfaethwy returned, Gilfaethwy and Goewin, I'm going to read this exactly how it's written in the story, were put in Math's bed, and her maidens were violently forced out of the room, and Goewin was taken against her will. Oh. So not so magical at all.
He's a jerk.
Gwydion and... Yeah.
All right, yeah.
As we said, with Gwydion probably being like, oh, why did I start a war for this? I thought it was like true love.
I think he was... Oh, I don't know. I think he was in on it.
There's a lot of that, though. You find that in the mythology a lot. It's like this sort of thing, like sexual assault and stuff, is just treated so like flippantly. Like Zeus is like king of the gods. He is such a fucking
Harvey
monster.
Weinstein.
Like
he's the head.
He's the Harvey Weinstein of the pantheon. 100%. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So these guys aren't so great. You think, oh, cool wizard. But not so nice. So they returned to the army after that, Gwydion and Gilfaethwy, and joined in, and they decided to wait for Pryderi's army in a place called Arfon in Gwynedd. And Pryderi came up, they had a battle, and there was a great massacre on both sides. Pryderi ended up retreating to a place called Nant Call, which, if you speak Welsh, Call is like sensible or rational.
The sensible river.
Yeah. So I guess that they're saying that's why it's named that, because he was sensible when he retreated back to there. And then they were chased, so they fought again, and there was again immeasurable slaughter, it's written, and they fled to a place called Dol Benmain. Pryderi decided to make peace then at that point, giving 24 hostages, One was called Gurgi Gwastra. For no reason, I don't know why he's named specifically compared to the others, because he's never mentioned again.
He's like a name of the writer or a friend of the writer, and you're just going like, "Oh, just drop me in there, bro! Like Gurgi, come on, Gurgi, the noble steed."
Yeah, I think Gurgi's probably like an old Welsh name for George. Probably comes from the same kind of stem. And Gwastra, I was thinking that sounds like Gwastraff, which is just like waste. And I was just like, was he that bad? Well, when I looked it up, apparently Gwastra can also mean vain. So maybe he was just full of himself. So that's why he got a mention, and the other 23 sons of noblemen didn't.
You're either rubbish or very, very vain. Yeah, I mean, neither are good.
Yeah, so I tried to find more information on him, but he just never appears ever again. So I don't know. So they travelled in peace as far as a place called the Traeth Mawr, but the soldiers couldn't resist shooting at each other. So Pryderi requested to stop that. He requested a duel with Gwydion, who had caused the war and who he was mostly annoyed with. So Math allowed it, and Gwydion kind of agreed to it as well. And so they both armed themselves and went to a fight. But Gwydion is a literal magician, so it's not great to pick a fight against a wizard.
Yeah. Any Baldur's Gate 3 fans here? You know, it's like wizard versus fighter. Am I right, guys? Shout in the comments,
yeah. I was massively into Baldur's Gate for over Christmas this year, so I know what it's like. Yeah.
Also, Franks is 100% into Baldur's Gate.
I fucking love it.
He was just trying to throw me under the bus for cool points.
It's such a good game. Anyway, so Pryderi ended up getting killed because of Gwydion's strength, valor, magic, and enchantment. I'm not sure what the difference is between those two, but yeah. He bested Pryderi and killed him.
He was a multi-classer, was he?
Yeah.
Deep cut for you Baldur's Gate boys.
Can I ask, if someone dies in the Mabinogion, do they reappear, or is that them done for the journey? Because it's like branches off. Do the branches is it chronological, or is it like Memento, where we'll have another branch later on, and it's like, oh, Pryderi's back, but this is when he was younger?
I don't think anyone ever gets mentioned again.
Cool. So
it might happen more with the...
It's said that way if you die, you go to Anov and go to the other world, but then you don't. It's not like you get, a next story, a sequel where you see them in Anov.
They're just gone.
Or something like that. Yeah, they tend to be gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they might be like in the later stories of Mabinogion, which are they're less chronological. I think you get some characters appearing in both, but they're kind of like they're not one after the other, so you don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Pryderi was killed, they buried him in a place called Maen Twrog. And there is a place called Maen Twrog today, which if you go, there's a stone there that's outside the church where there used to be a medieval church there before. And people have said that that's potentially his gravestone. The other two stories are that it was thrown by a giant or it was thrown by Saint Twrog themselves.
Twrog sounds like Balrog, and it's in a mine, like in Thingy, the Mines of Moria, and Twrog. Balrog. Have I just uncovered something huge?
Tolkien's mind.
Cracked Tolkien's mind. Shit, man. Put me on Mastermind. Give Clive Murray a call.
Well, I don't want to disprove you or anything here, but
but I have evidence to suggest to counter. Yeah,
I hear a heavy butt coming my way.
Yeah.
Well, the name Maen Twrog, they think that comes from that stone being there. And obviously Maen just meaning stone in Welsh, and Twrog, Saint Twrog. But yeah, maybe Tolkien took some inspiration from that. Yeah. You never know.
You're giving him way too easy and out there.
Yeah.
So Pryderi's been killed by Gwydion, and they've basically accepted that's the end of the war. So both armies then return to their lands. And when Math returns to Goewin, obviously she tells him what has happened. She basically says, you can't put your feet in my lap anymore. I don't know if she's it's like a bittersweet moment for her, because obviously she's gone through a horrific ordeal, but now she doesn't have to hold his feet for the rest of her life. So
she can get another job now. That is one thing, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll pay as well. I don't know. I imagine holding a king's feet would be quite well paid. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty good, especially if it's like meant to be like semi-godly as well. You expect some decent reimbursement, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. So she tells him what's happened, and to kind of recompense, that's a hard word. Is that how you say it?
Recompense, yeah.
Recompense, yeah.
As recompense, yeah.
Recompense, yeah. To recompense her, he ends up marrying her, so she's actually really rich for the rest of her life, and queen, essentially, of Gwynedd.
Yeah.
He then obviously is not very happy with his two nephews, so he ends up banning Gwydion and Gilfaethwy, who haven't returned. They've basically done a runner. Well, it doesn't say they've done a runner. They've kind of started circuiting the land again, but well away from him. So he puts a ban across the entire land, saying that they're not allowed to have food and drink anywhere until they finally come back to the court. So they end up having to go back because they're starving and thirsty. And
Luke, sorry to interrupt you. Is there another version of this where they...
That's literally the next paragraph.
Oh, go on. Sorry, I'm ruining it all. Apologies.
But you are showing your credentials once again. So
yeah.
I've got to claw my way back, mate. I've got to claw my way back up the rankings.
So they finally go back to the court, and Math, who he's still very angry with them for the unnecessary war they caused, the shame they caused to him. Obviously, he's not happy that they essentially sexually assaulted Goewin, but also he was more annoyed, I think, that it was in his own bed that he did it. And also, he wasn't happy that he had to kill, well, Pryderi had to die because of it, because he got on quite well with Pryderi at the time. So he thought they deserved quite a bad punishment and a fitting punishment to the crime that they committed. So what he did is he turned Gilfaethwy into a hind, and he ended up catching Gwydion, who tried to run, and turned him into a stag. And they were made to live and mate together, and a year later they returned to the court with a fawn.
That's right, yeah.
That's good. I like that. Imagine if me and you did something really bad and then we were forced to have a baby together.
That is such a punishment the gods would give us as well. Now one of us has to have to shag each other, and one of us has to carry a baby. Ridiculous.
Oh, that is hell. Oh, that's really funny.
Well, what's good is that just that didn't please Math enough. And I don't know if it's because he thought that he wanted each of them to experience being the female and the male. So after they returned that year with a baby, a fawn, he turned them into a boar and a sow. And then he took that the child that they had, the fawn, and named him Heathen, I think I would say, coming from heath, meaning stag, which is actually where we get the word hydref from. It comes from heath vrefi, which is when the stags roar when they're fighting against each other in autumn.
Cool. Yeah, hydref means autumn in Welsh. Well,
so
it's
autumn and October.
Yeah, October, yeah.
So the thing with the sow and the boar as well, isn't it the opposite way round?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. So they make
one's a dom,
one's
a sub, and then one's a sub, one's a dom.
They said, look,
one's a
you're
bottom,
both
one's a top.
Switches now, okay?
So they end up having to go away as these animals, and they have the animals' instincts, so they aren't they're aware of what's happening, but they can't help it, basically. So they then return a year later. They have another offspring, which he changes into human. He names the boy Hychdwn, which is Hych, meaning coming from Hych, which means sow. And then he still isn't satisfied, so he does it once more, swaps them around again, where he changes them into wolves.
You haven't quite had enough yet. Yeah. Okay.
So they're both wolves. They go off for a year. They come back with a cub, and he takes that son and names it Blaethyn, from Blythe, meaning wolf.
Nice.
And after all that, he thought they'd finally kind of pay their dues. So he turns them back into human form, and he considers the debt repaid and their friendship earned again, which I thought he just meant they were friends again. But back in the day, apparently friendship was a legal thing. If you've wronged someone, you had to earn their friendship back so that they kind of...
I was going to say, you've been gender swapping us as different animals for, let's say, at minimum 3 years. Come back and go, hey, let's bygones be bygones. Call it quits. Friends, shake hands, yeah.
Well, that's interesting, though, that you got friendship's a legal term.
Yeah. Yeah, the book I'm using, by the way, the Mabinogion book, is by Shauna Davis. It's like an Oxford Press version, and like the notes in the back are so thorough and really good for this. Like, if you read in the stories, I'd recommend it. It's so good.
Those things kind of need that, don't they? Because you need a constant. It's like when you read like King Lear, you sometimes need the York notes to go with it, just because like it's quite otherworldly to us. So you need to have like a translation and to keep you along, so you don't get lost in it.
Yeah, it is a lot to take in, so it takes a few reads. But having
all
that
of
just
these
helps
like
you.
kind of mythological sources as well, they have so many like interpretations, like you can get so many versions that although the sort of main through story is kind of the same on a lot of things, you can have like certain adaptations that they just change details, I mean, that's kind of in the spirit of what it used to be, I guess, but it's having those notes in the back is always like a helpful thing.
And I think that is where we'll stop this part of the story.
I say that's a whole other thing, isn't it? Lleithel Gyffes and Blodeuwydd, whole other tale, that one.
And it just gets more and more bizarre from there, doesn't it? With that Billy Goat and the
Although I did read a really good version of that, which kind of like instead of it sounding like two odd things, it was like done as how will he pull this feat off, and then in it it kind of highlights his ingenuity.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a nod to that later if we're going to continue with the original plan thing.
But
no,
actually,
crack on, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot I did this. Jack said to me, "Do I have to do anything for tonight?" And I said,
I didn't even have to do it.
I'm so sorry. When you said anything, you wrote something. So, Luke, Jack said to me earlier, "Do I have to do anything tonight?" I said, "Oh yeah." Luke's asked, "Could you think of a way of combining you and Jack's friendship into a story from the Mabinogion?"
I did not. Made that
you know what?
Sorry.
He said originally. He said I need 3 Mabinogion stories that relate to our friendship, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" It's like 3:30. I was like, I can't think of this shit now. I said, "Look, I'll force things. Man. I'll make it really shit, whatever." And then this is all bullshit. I've written something. I've written a story.
We'll save it for the Patreon. We'll do it on the Patreon because
I knew it as well. You know, I was like, you wouldn't do. I was like, this is going to be a prank on the
just before the call.
Frank likes the prank.
Yeah, just before the call, Jack went, "Oh yeah, well I've written it all down." I was like, "Oh shit, he's actually written it down." That's so annoying of me, but I can't. It's because I can't help it when Jack says something. I have to like think of a way to make it into a prank.
Well, you need to learn to help it because it's. I'm wasting my precious time on this earth doing this thing.
We'll do it we can do it as a Patreon thingy. So with that, that's a good sign.
Unintentional content.
Yeah, publicize the Patreon. We're a little bit over time, but Luke, thanks so much for coming on, mate. It was an absolute pleasure to have
it's been
you.
Great, yeah.
And the music at the start, that's going to go down. That's going to go down well with the listeners.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
When you record that professionally, please send us a copy.
I'll have a thing. I'll have to set up my studio properly because I've just moved to this house about 6 months ago.
Well, diolch yn fawr. Thanks so much, Luke.
Diolch, mate.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back on for another Mabinogion story later down the line.
Oh, it'd be good fun, yeah.
Brilliant. All right.
Oh, yeah, mate. We'll have to like draft you in for the next like Mabinogion bits we have.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. I've literally made a PowerPoint of all the stories to revise for Mastermind. So I've got like the general gist of each story. I've already got it written down in a nice form. So.
I'll tell you what, if I'm short on time, because Frank set up some imaginary task for me in a couple of weeks or something.
Actually, you've already got it, Jack.
You can send me over some PowerPoints.
Luke's already sent
I have actually sent it before,
Yeah, so I'll send it over to you.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah.
Save me some notes.
Yeah, but I want to test you. I'll send that over to you, Jack, because, Luke's dropped me a Dropbox full of stuff.
Yes, please. Diolch yn fawr.
Right, let's wrap that up. Diolch everyone, thanks for listening. Drop us the reviews and all that malarkey. Catch you all next week. Diolch yn fawr.
Branwen dyw dy stori ddim yn llawen. Mae'n dechrau gyda gledda ac yn gorffen mewn rhyfela.
Ond Branwen cofia di, bydd gen ti gaint dy hun.
Mabinogi, ogi, ogi,